was talking to my wife about it's just such a great honor and a shared honor. It is the highest recognition in the state, and it's one of those that I'm just very grateful and humbled, honored, obviously, to be selected. I have two wonderful sons and one daughter. They're older, they're off the payroll. Our younger daughter is at Grand Canyon University. She's a nursing student, and the other two are doing great things out in the workforce. So my wife it's a unique story between us because I hired her at Ponderosa in 1994, and she became the dance coach and coached there for about 25 years and was very successful as well. So we're very fortunate, very blessed to have great kids and great family, and my dad was a coach and a teacher, so kind of followed in his footsteps. I actually started my coaching and teaching career in El Paso, Texas, at Burgess High School. Coached and taught there for 7 years, and then had an opportunity to interview at Ponderosa in 1990, and the rest is history, so to speak. Things were rough at first. We weren't very good, and I left an El Paso team that was really good, and we ended up being third in the state tournament the year before and had a really good team because it took us 3 or 4 years to develop a program that was respected across the state. Eventually we did. We ended up being second in 95 and 96, and state champions in 97, 98, and then a little bit of a lull, and then 8 state championships in a row from 2003 to 2010. So a lot to be proud of there. But I had a specific group of dads that I want to make sure that I mention. Dan McNellis, Bob Eckhart, and Mike O'Clair. We got together and developed a vision for the program, put all the pieces in play, beginning with, hey, we want to win state championships. Now what do we have to do in order to accomplish that? And they helped me greatly through that, along with my assistant coaches. And we just developed a system where we had a great junior wrestling team, a great feeder system. We traveled around the country wrestling some of the best in the country to get better. And we had kids and coaches willing to work hard every day. So the mentors I had when I was growing up, my dad was the biggest one. He was a PE teacher, football coach, driver's ed instructor, wrestling official, football official. Anyway, he was at Sandia High School for 33 years. And what's interesting is I was at Ponderosa for 31 years. He is just an incredible mentor and very strict and no nonsense type of guy. I'd say my high school wrestling coach, Scott Evans, was another one that was an amazing mentor and someone who I felt was what a coach should be and act like and talk like. And so those two were huge. And then the third one is my wife, and she's a dance coach for 25 years at Ponderosa, and she's won 11 state championships. And she is an incredible mentor and someone who works really hard. And we go back and forth on different types of coaching strategies and whatnot, but I've learned a great deal from her as well. There's a lot of great memories, and one of the things that stands out is my relationship with Jake, my middle son, who wrestled for me, and the lesson learned of when to be a dad and when to be a coach. It's hard to not focus on your own son when they're in the wrestling room and practicing. And so one day he wasn't working as hard as I thought he should work, and so kind of had a little conversation, and he ended up quitting for about 10 days. And, it was hard because, during those 10 days, it was really difficult to be both a dad and a coach, and how are we going to put this thing back together. And so when he quit and we had those conversations, the lesson that I learned was you need to just be a dad and let the coaching fall to the wayside because that's your son, right? And so what we did is one of our assistant coaches, Carl Ellis, I basically said, will you coach him? And he said, yeah. And so Jake ended up coming back to Ponderosa to wrestle and ended up being a state runner-up 2 years in a row. And so that was a great memory and something that a lesson I learned about, hey, make sure you separate being a coach from being a dad. There's so many great coaches and athletes and administrators across the state of Colorado and in the past. So to be included with those amazing people and then to be kind of separated from the others it's an amazing honor, and I'm very grateful. And I've always had great relationships with the CHSAA folks. And so I've gone through, 4 or 5 commissioners during my tenure, but all of them have been great mentors and great leaders. One of the lessons that we learned along the way was taking care of details. We always had all of our kids be a half pound under before we went to any event. Because scales vary, and we were at the state tournament, and one of our kids was right on weight in the hotel. So we all took the bus over to the Pepsi Center, and he ran from the hotel to the Pepsi Center. And when he got to the Pepsi Center, he weighed in, and he was right on weight. So he lost about a half on the way there. And we went on to win the state championship by about 20 some odd points, which is what he was worth and what he scored. One of the things I want to make sure I say is that it's a shared honor. And there were so many people that did so many great things and worked hard to make all of that happen. And we had great wrestlers, we had great parents, great assistant coaches, I had great support, family support. And to hoist the trophy is great, but all of the lives we changed and the relationships we built along the way are the things that I'm most proud of, because made some mistakes along the way, but those things, having kids come back and say, "Coach, that was one of the best times of my life, and I learned so much, and you helped me become successful." Those sorts of things are what really it's very heartfelt.